opened my game to a forced update just now. It's version 0.57.4, and well, this Silph Road already mined the APK and checked the game master file when this update started rolling out a couple days ago. There is nothing has changed in the game file, in the game master, in the APK. So this forced update is more than likely security fixes, bug fixes, and possibly some new anti-botting or anti-cheating stuff, some back-end stuff put in place here. So if you see this, don't get too excited. Nothing's really going to change on your end. Just had lunch out here in Pasadena with Cassie's dad. Check this out. I totally repurposed these insulated side pockets. It's a lens pocket now. See what I mean? Go Plus is not safe here. Someone's drying their socks here in the park. I was going to use that as a tripod, but since we were out here, I decided to check Silph Road, see if there were any nests nearby. Turns out this park, Central Park in Old Town Pasadena, is currently a Cyndaquil nest. You wouldn't know it by looking, and honestly, that kind of matches up with what people are saying here. 2 total, 1 each, but both appeared within a few minutes, going from one stop to the other. Was here for 45 minutes, and only ever saw 1 at the Pokestop. I found 1 Cyndaquil entering the park from the east side. Then there were reports like this, 6 in 30 minutes. Cluster spawns of 2 to 3 around the Pokestops. So we'll just walk around the park, see what we can find. Chances are, it's not going to be much, but with Pineapple Berry, at least that's double candies for each one. Cassie's just reading up on the haunted history of this building right here. It's like 117 years old. I mean, that was pretty convenient. Right away, we have a Cyndaquil. And while I'm working on this, I want to talk about an interesting article that was posted on the Silph Road yesterday, very recently. The article claims, it's another article from Wired.de, the German version of Wired, and in it, John Hanke kind of casually mentions that region-exclusive Pokemon are hard to catch, and that they might have some kind of migration in the future. This is actually going a lot better than I expected. Here's Cyndaquil number 2. Now, continuing with the article, I'm not so convinced. The thing is, John Hanke generally doesn't really know what he's talking about when it comes to game updates, game mechanics. He's the CEO of the company. You okay? He's the CEO of the company. He's not really a designer. He's not on the design team. He doesn't really have a say in the day-to-day operations of design. So in the article, there's a picture of John Hanke who's walking a Tentacruel as his buddy, which right there tells you he doesn't really know a lot about how the game's actually played, because really what's the point of walking a Tentacruel, especially when he lives in San Francisco where Tentacool is pretty common. Pokemon's already evolved, he doesn't need the candies, unless he wants to power it up. I mean, you could use the buddy system that way, I suppose, but he's not really a hardcore player of Pokemon Go. He's only level 19 at the moment. In the context of the article, he's talking about how Swinub is a rare Pokemon. It's his first time catching Swinub, which is very common in Germany and more northern parts of the world, Canada, Europe. But he mentions that he sees a lot of Krabby in San Francisco. He also mentions that certain Pokemon are only available on certain continents. As we know, region exclusives include Tauros, Mr. Mime, Kangaskhan, now Heracross, Corsola, and also Farfetch'd. Another one. Oh no. So anyway, Before I catch this, let me pull up the article because I want to give you the exact quote, because it's kind of important to what I'm trying to say here. So here's the direct translation. Actually, this is a Bing translation on Reddit. I still don't have the mumbling Hanke, and shows the Queekle, which is a swinub, on his display. A monster that is half pig, half mollusk. I wouldn't call it quite mollusk, but that's the translation. The Pokemon on almost every street corner resides in Berlin. Quite different in Hanke's home San Francisco. We have especially Krabbies, he says. Not every monster is there in Pokemon Go everywhere equally often. That is the appeal of the game for Hanke. Some monsters live only on certain continents. Perhaps could there eventually be a hike, the Niantic CEO hints at. So a hike, in this case, means a migration, right? Like I said, literal Bing translation. Probably not the best. Cool, thanks man, appreciate it. So first of all, that right there tells you it's sort of just speculation. There's no direct quote from John Hanke saying that regional Pokemon might migrate someday. It's really speculative. To me, it seems more like a comment just made in passing, like, you know, it might change someday. Not saying that there are plans for it. Quillfish is cool. He's not saying it's on the radar. It's not something that's definitely gonna happen. It's really just a guy saying, yeah, maybe, someday. And remember, a guy who doesn't actually know a whole lot about the game. So even more interesting to me is that the person who posted this article on Reddit, on the Sylph Road, is actually the author of the article. And when you look at the way he titled it, which we'll go do after this egg hatches, okay, you'll see why I find it a little bit, suspicious is the word I'm looking for. Wooper. I have so many Wooper candies now. Is this a good Wooper? Yes, finally. I have one worth evolving, whenever I decide to do that. All right, there's another one this way. Oh, it's right here. We'll go grab that. The Reddit post is titled, John Hanke talks about potential migration of regional Pokemon and smart glasses for Pokemon Go. German interview. The first comment is from Dromps, the Sylph CEO. And in it, Dromps says, the author of the piece, You Nerd Meets You, who is the person who posted this on Reddit, has confirmed that when asked, Hanke said a future regional migration might be possible. But rather than hinting towards an upcoming change, it was more in the sense of possibility. So to me, it sounds like it's definitely not happening. It's not planned. The author of the article titled the post on Reddit in such a way because it was really the most attention-grabbing thing that he got out of John Hanke when writing the article. And that way, when you title it that way, a lot of people will click on it, a lot of people will click through and read your article. Basically what I'm saying is the author took the most interesting or attention-grabbing part of the interview, no matter how small it was, and made it the title, the headline. In other words, it's clickbait, just like this video. A bunch of people have asked me about it today, and my answer still remains the same. I don't think it's ever gonna happen. I think making regional exclusive Pokemon available in other regions completely breaks the idea of regional exclusivity, which is something that Niantic is really about with this game. It's a real-world game. They want you to travel, they want you to meet people who have traveled, and trade with them, eventually. So I don't think it's happening, and that's why. There is, though, an Ariados a block away. Let's go get it. Oh man, I just got the fled pop-up on the Ariados. It was right over here. A few Spinneracks. Definitely the type of place for it, I guess. It's back there. I can't really get across to it from here quickly. I'm probably out of time. Nope, it's not here. Just an execute. we had another Cyndaquil on the way back through the park. It's already 4:30, which is a terrible time to be driving in LA. I mean, to be honest, any time is a terrible time to be driving in LA. But I gotta start heading home because I don't really want to spend the next 2 hours of my life in the car. An hour and a half seems a little bit more reasonable. What do you think?
An hour and a half, 2 hours seems almost the same for me.
Yeah. Well, there goes. Ooh, Teddy Ursa. I'll take that. I'll give that a pineapple berry too. So there are definitely quite a few Cyndaquils here. I guess we just came at a good time while I work on this. The article did mention some other more interesting things, in my opinion, more interesting than the thought of regional exclusives migrating, possibly, maybe, at some point. And that's the use of new AR technologies with Pokemon Go. My mom called while we were on the way home and invited me to meet her at Whole Foods. So that's where we are. Say hi, Chance.
Hi. I'm in my Crocs.
So the article continues, and John Hanke goes on to talk about AR technology. He talks about things like smart glasses. And I know I've said publicly before, can't remember when, but I think Pokemon Go is going to be the game to relaunch Google Glass in a form that's widely adopted, more so than Google Glass was originally, because people weren't ready for it at the time.
Why does this always happen?
I don't know. Nice. Oh my god, it's so warm.
Hanke continues to talk about other new technology. Can you see me? I always do this. Selfie screen, please. New technologies that could be used for AR gaming and AR applications in general, which is very exciting for me because I'm equal parts excited for and terrified by a future where I have a computer in my brain. Because it would be great to be able to just look at someone and mute them and never have to hear them again. Seriously. Can't wait for stuff like that to happen.
Want to mute someone?
I want to mute someone.
You want to mute Donald Trump?
But as far as Pokemon Go is concerned, he definitely talks about using things like Google Glass and smart glasses to add Pokemon to the real world around you. You know, so you don't have to play through your phone screen. Because again, as we've said so many times before, Niantic doesn't really want you to play like this. They want you to play like this. Oh, no one's trying to get this. I might be in the way.
They caught him. They caught him.
We caught him at the Huntington Library.
I have a vision that
Does Mom play Pokemon Go on your account more than you do?
Does Mom go and drive around to spin at night?
Yeah.
It's like 8 o'clock at night and I'm sitting there and we hadn't spun, so I get in my car and I drive over to the church.
Yeah.
So I can spin.
The only...
And
Okay, she
catch,
always
first
says,
catch.
do you want to go spin the stops and catch Pokemon when I am about or after I take a shower and already dressed to go to sleep?
I told him that he doesn't have to get out of the car. No one's going to see him in his without any pants on.
Yeah, Mom, but like you said, oh, what if some crazy guy, what if something happens and we have to get out of the car? Exactly.